Do you remember the feeling of your very first real paycheck? After a month of exhausting, mind-numbing shifts stocking shelves at the local grocery store, Bob has finally received his first paycheck. Looking at that number in his bank account, his brain does something very dangerous. For the first time in his life, Bob feels rich. He has a problem. He wants the ultimate $2,000 gaming setup, but he only has $400. In the past, this would have been the end of the story. But society has created a very clever trap for people who feel rich but don't actually have wealth. It's called the payment plan. With the click of a button, Bob gets the dopamine hit of the purchase.
Yay, confetti! Best surprise ever!
The massive boxes arrive. He sets up his dream desk. He feels like he has won the game, but what Bob doesn't realize is that he just signed away his freedom. Fast forward exactly 1 month.
These crates are killing me today.
The excitement of the unboxing has completely worn off. The glowing lights of the keyboard are just normal lights now. And then, the first of the month arrives. To make that $150 payment, Bob realizes he has to work 2 extra, soul-crushing shifts at the grocery store.
What the? Where did this come from? It's so heavy.
This is the brutal irony of the trap.
Come on, get off.
Bob bought the gaming setup to enjoy his free time. But the monthly payment is so high that he has to pick up extra shifts just to survive. He is working overtime to pay for a screen he no longer has the time to look at. He feels suffocated. He feels like no matter how many hours he works, his bank account is always empty. He is experiencing the reality of the middle-class hamster wheel. He thought he bought a prize, but what he actually bought was a liability. To understand why Bob is trapped, we need to look at the invisible engine that runs our lives. The cash flow blueprint. Most people go their entire lives without understanding how these 4 boxes work. If you are broke, your cash flow is a straight line. Money comes in through your job, income, and goes straight out to pay for food, rent, and fun, expenses. At the end of the month, the number is 0. But when people start making a little bit of money, they make a critical mistake. They start buying things they think are assets, but are actually liabilities. Society tells us that a fancy car, designer clothes, or a high-end computer makes you wealthy. But in the world of financial mechanics, the definition of a liability is simple. It is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Bob's computer requires a monthly payment. It uses electricity, and every day it sits there, it loses its resale value. It is actively making him poorer. An asset, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket, whether you are awake, asleep, or sitting on a beach. The wealthy do not focus on buying things. They focus entirely on buying assets, which then generate the cash to buy the things they want. Bob realizes he is standing at a crossroads. He can keep working himself to the bone just to look rich, or he can swallow his pride and actually build wealth. He makes an ego-crushing decision. He sells the setup. Because technology depreciates the second you open the box, he takes a massive loss. He pays off the scary payment plan and is left with $500. His friends laugh at him for downgrading. His room feels empty. But for the first time in months, the heavy iron chain around his ankle shatters. He has his free time back. This time, Bob doesn't buy a liability. He buys the most boring, unglamorous thing he can find. A used vending machine.
I bought this used vending machine.
Here's the key, kid. Pleasure doing business.
Thank you.
He cleans it up, buys snacks in bulk, and makes a deal to place it in the waiting room of his uncle's busy auto repair shop. It starts slow, $1 here, 50 cents there. But something magical happens. Bob realizes he is making money while he is sitting at home doing nothing. The vending machine is his very first true asset. It is an independent worker that never sleeps, never complains, and constantly puts money back into his pocket.
I turn. The usual.
Whoa, look at that money fly.
I'll take one too.
This thing is a gold mine.
Within a year, the machine has paid for itself entirely. Bob uses those profits to buy a second machine, then a third. When you finally step back and look at the financial blueprint of the world, the dividing line between the classes becomes crystal clear. The poor buy cheap things that break. The middle class buys expensive liabilities they think are assets, trapping them in a cycle of debt. But the wealthy buy assets, and they let those assets pay for their lifestyle. If Bob's story made you look at your own life, your own work, or your own hustle a little differently today, hit subscribe. This channel is dedicated to unpacking the hidden psychology of success and sharing the real-life stories that shift your perspective. Stick around, the next story might just change how you see them.